EfilDay video 654, whatever, somewhere in there. Six, yeah, something like that. Anyway, I was going to do, well, I'll do this subject just because there's no point in mixing subjects, and so I'll try to do this one quick and, yeah, get right to it. So anyway, conference report mentioned Steven Pinker again, and he has written on these books about how violence has decreased, that we've never had it so good because so few people are dying in wars. And like somehow that's a measure of how civilization is just marching so fast forward and so kick-ass and wonderful and great. And I agree that it's really good not to die stupidly and in stupid ways, but obviously we have made war into a different kind of mechanism. The casualties aren't soldiers anymore. You know, a lot of things have changed, and you know, lots of collateral damage, let's say, and very expensive. And expense is important because expense is human welfare. For every flak jacket, or whatever they're called, flak jacket, you buy, that's food you can't buy. You've wasted labor and manufacturing and resources to run these tanks and run this stuff and manage these people and do all this crap and interfere and all this crap, all this billions, incredible, preposterous amounts of money that could literally civilize entire continents. You could civilize Africa with the $2 trillion we wasted in this stupid Arab slaughter war we conducted. And that's just the truth. So in that sense, our waste has become even more preposterous than the old-style waste where the excess of males were essentially done away with, you know, through the process of territorial warfare. And so you were likely not to live as long, and you were likely to die in war violently. Yes, I'd almost say, okay, that might be better than this mechanical, preposterous waste war that we conduct now. I mean, at least you didn't spend the entire resources of your tribe to, you know, maintain an industrial complex that made a bunch of fat people rich, right? So on that score, I'd say it's fail. And the more important one, the one I really want to get to, is, yeah, look what we have done. We have industrialized the slaughter of animals. We've industrialized their horrific treatment. We've got factories with hundreds of thousands of animals in them now. All right, just literally tortured for their life to manufacture a nugget, a little tasty nugget. So on that score, huge fail, huge, gigantic fail in how animals are treated. You know, they were well cared for in the old days because they were real valuable property, and you know, people were right there. It was right in their face, and they had to deal with it, and they had to take them down, and they did it as humanely as possible. So on that score, animals have totally not done well in this progress thing. We're killing hundreds of thousands of wild animals every year. Millions, actually. Well, if you count fish, I mean, don't really get into that. Whales, I mean, were whales better off 200 years ago, or are they better off now? I think the answer is obvious. Were seals better off 200,000 years ago? I mean, 200 years ago, or better off now? So all these other sentient creatures have been huge losers in this beautiful new world we're living in. Right? All right, now let's just get to the human life, the average human life. So what's the average human life now, right? Yeah, we don't die of silly infections. We don't die of croup or the cold or the flu or some other stupid thing, or plagues or that kind of stuff. But how do we die? And what we do, we all die anyway, so we still die. So that hasn't been cured. Death hasn't been cured. All you're saying is we get more years before we die. Yeah, more years of what? Oh, nursing homes. Yeah, oh yeah, that's fun. Chemotherapy. Oh yeah, that's great. So, again, if you take the real quality of life, like what is the average quality of life if you mix all this stuff together, I would argue that 200 years ago, although people didn't live as long, they spent less time dying. A lot less time dying, like a teeny, teeny, tiny amount of time dying compared to how much time we spend dying now. So we've, like, you know, many times over multiplied the length of our death. And even in the incidental sicknesses, the good news is it was kind of that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger thing. Yeah, you did a lot more of the getting stronger thing than the, years of suffering to survive so you can suffer and die later. So we're doubling or tripling or multiplying many times over the severity of our illness. So we're surviving typhus so we can get, tuberculosis, so we can, and surviving that so we can get polio, so we can get, I'm using these just as examples. Obviously nobody does that anymore. But I'm just saying, taking their old diseases and migrating them to the fact that we are living longer, so we're having more cancers, more heart disease, more of all these other chronic illnesses, more chronic disability. Disability numbers are way up. People are being born broken. And we're keeping babies alive who are anemic and broken, catastrophically, essentially broken. And we keep them alive, we make them survive, so they can live a mediocre life as a broken human being. So I think this idea that somehow we're way better off and we're doing really super because, we're not actually clubbing each other to death, I would argue, versus dying of cancer or spending 10 years in a nursing home, I'd rather be clubbed to death. Yeah, at 25, I'll vote for that. So I don't see that as a win. Shorter death is good, longer death is bad. Dying more than once is bad. Dying just once, maybe less than once, is good. Because a lot of these people too, they died without even knowing they died. It was that quick sometimes. It was it's a hard, tough world, back then. But I'd take dying of exposure to dying of cancer, or dying of a brain tumor, or dying of all the other crap that people die of now. It is not, sawbones, the old name for doctor. Doctors weren't loved back in the past because, they were basically just silly interferers. They're more likely to do harm than good in a lot of cases. It was pretty horrific to try to be an advanced human being and survive your death. We've cut out. We've done a lot of morphine, a lot of big advances that were really great to solve us, keep us from suffering as much. But when you really add up the amount of days we spend suffering, we've preposterously multiplied those days as a percentage of your life. In my opinion, that's not a good thing. Nothing to celebrate, nothing to say, bravo. God, I got some real neurological problems here. My fingertips all ache. Just from holding the camera. Easy. Ow. Ow. God damn it. Ow. They look okay. They're normal enough. But they all frickin' sting. Like they got thorns in them or something. Ew. I'm getting old and shit. Anyway, it's not arthritis, right? They're not swollen, so it can't be like gout or anything. Ooh. Ow. Ow. It really hurts. Fuck. Alright, enough of that. You have to sit on it. Okay. That works a little bit, but really, it doesn't really solve the problem. Sit on it. That'll solve it. Oh, man, it really does sting. Son of a bitch. But I get this shit like this. Now it's my fingertips. Like some other day I'd be working and all of a sudden my wrist just goes funky. And it's like, it's just like weak and, oh man, it's like it's broken. And, it gets better, but man, it's just not good. But like the color's good. It's blood circulating. So, I don't know. It's some sort of nerve thing. Anyway, this isn't your problem. this sort of illustrates the point that we have all this medicine, all this technology, but it's also making us quite miserable. We're all on this pill, and then we take one pill, and then you have to take another pill to compensate for that pill, and then you take another pill to compensate for that pill, and then you're just, in a whole cycle of shit. So, screw this, idea that we're doing so much better. give me, 25 good years on Paradise Island, and you can have the, 90 mediocre years here in capitalist whorehouse. Yeah, enough. What it is. Anyway, okay. Till next time.